Good day, dear listeners. It's such a pleasure to have you again on another episode of the Electoral Reform Digest, where you get to hear the unfiltered view of the Executive Director on issues that really matters to you. And today, we're talking about an issue that is trending on all platforms currently, which is the issue on the nomination of the INEC Chairman. And today here with us to break down the issues that has been trending on social media is the Executive Director, Pairing Advocacy and Advancement Center. Just to lay a background on some of these issues, we know that the nominated INEC Chairman has already gone through the approval stage from the Council of State and currently about to go to the Senate for the final phase of the screening process before being finally appointed. And so with us here, we are speaking with the Executive Director, who is vast in these issues and has been a part of the process, the democratic process, and understands these issues. And so he's going to be breaking out some of the issues that have been giving you areas of doubt. And so the first question I'm going to be asking here is, first off, sir, what are your views on the personality of the new INEC chair and the questions of Nigerians on the INEC independence?
Well, I'm not going to talk about the personality of the INEC chairman because I think sometimes it's wasteful to talk about a good man or a bad man. It's better to see how individuals fit into legal framework of institutions, because Nigeria dwells on whether somebody is good. If you are good and you are brought into a framework that is untidy,
yes,
it will rub off on you.
Very true.
So what I think your question will help me do will be to unpack and sometimes deflate expectations of Nigerians in an individual as a solution to the myriad of challenges that you face probably in elections.
Yes.
And I will start with the issue around the president, for instance. The president runs a federal state with governors who are not appointed by him, elected by the people. The method of removing a governor is the same method of removing a president. You have to go through, impeachment.
Yes.
And that impeachment has a procedure.
Very true.
If you want to remove a president or a governor. So in that sense, the president is not the boss for the governors. Indeed, they are colleagues, but there is something you call primus inter pares, first among equals. The president cannot direct a state governor. Even with all the issues around state of emergency, there has to still be a nod by the National Assembly, and you have to create an environment that makes the National Assembly agree with you that a governor can be suspended but not removed.
Yes.
So, having put that context, the national chairman works with 12 other national commissioners.
Very true, sir.
Who are appointed the same way a national chairman is appointed. Every national commissioner first represents a zone, 2 per zone. Now, this 2 per zone comes from a region. The governors and other major stakeholders in those regions play very significant role in who comes to represent those zones. If you remember, when there was a vacancy, when Festus Okoye left INEC, it took more than close to 1 year before a replacement could be made. And that was because of the contests between the governors of the states as to which of the states will nominate. And eventually, so you find out that these 12 national commissioners worship in different shrines and drink water from different ponds. And so when they come to the commission, they are coming with the baggage of the people who appointed them, the expectations of their zone, and that is one of the complexities of the kind of federalism that we are practicing. That's number one. Now, this commission will then include 37 other president electoral commissioners, one per state, who will be appointed the same way a national chairman is appointed. Will go through the same process of appointment. Will have to be nominated by the president or nominated by these other interests also from the states where those national commissioners will be coming from. And most of these appointees are politicians
who will most likely play to their own
who, of course, even when you are appointed, when you don't have political inclinations and they appoint you, there is some level of loyalty to the man or woman who appointed you. So these 37 national commissioners are not subject to the chairman. The chairman can only, with sufficient evidence, suspend, or the commission, in this case, that's the national commission. The commission will mean the chairman, and they will have to agree for the suspension of a resident electoral commissioner. But to remove a resident electoral commissioner, you have to go to the National Assembly and get two-thirds vote of the members of the National Assembly to be able to remove a resident electoral commissioner. So the point that I'm making is that these resident electoral commissioners are coming with their baggages of who appointed them, baggages also of the expectations of the states and zones they have also come to represent in the commission. After this resident electoral commissioners, you have another 37 administrative secretaries. While the resident electoral commissioner is a political appointee, the administrative secretaries are career bureaucrats within INEC who have grown to in rank at about level 16, thereabout, or 17. So, who also conflicts with the political appointees. We know the job. We are the ones who know this job. You are just, and they know the nature of these appointments. So there is truly no love lost most of the time between the administrative secretaries and the resident electoral commissioners. Perhaps the adhesive that will bring them together will be greed. Then you have 774 electoral officers who are EOs in charge of local governments. And then you have over 1 million, for a general election, you have over 1 million ad hoc staff. That includes vice chancellors and all of these people, including close to 14,000 or more INEC staff. All of these people worship in different shrines, drink from different ponds,
and serve different personal interests.
So the work of a national chairman is in the ability to navigate all of these interests to create a vision. Now, his dexterity, his capacity to do this will depend on not just that he knows book. There are off-academic skills that are required to be able to navigate through the complexities of these challenges.
Wow, quite a lot for one person. Okay, so my next question would be focused on the fact that before now, Professor Mahmood Yakubu has done a good job of managing the administration of INEC and created some new innovation that has helped the process and moved us from point A to point B. And so, for this current chairman, what areas do you think that the new chairman can build a continuous legacy from what we have currently?
Well, I've made my point around these issues. I think that we need consolidation. Part of, for me, the enduring legacy of the Mahmood Commission is the ability to consolidate on the gains of the Jega reforms.
True.
And undergird it with not just new hands, but also carrying over some of the intellectual heavyweights that supported Jega and took them over as part of his own support staff.
Yes.
I'm talking about folks like Professor Ibanu, Professor Mohammed Kuna, and Professor Bolade Enyinla.
Yeah.
This support system was able to bring some rigor and stability in ensuring that those reforms that were initiated under the Jega regime were not only, sustained, but now with new innovations. Some of them very quiet innovations that a lot of people don't know. In fact, on the count on the hand, you have about 20 of those kind of innovations that were brought in. But the most the most shining of those are the beavers, the IREV, which a lot of people still don't understand.
Yeah.
And what it is and how it should be. So innovation must continue, consolidation will have to continue. But beyond all of this, the INEC chairman has his work cut out, navigating the terrible minefield that the Nigerian political space is. The first thing he needs to do is to understand the nature, character, complexity, complexion of the Nigerian political class that always wants a dubious advantage. And how do they do this? If they say, hey Jerry, I want you to help me do this, I'm going to give you 100 million. If you say no, they don't believe that it is because you have integrity. It is because another person has given you something higher. So the work, the INEC folks, not just the chairman, anybody in INEC should do well to understand the kind of political environment, the kind of context, and the human beings that play in that space, and do everything possible, not just to understand them, but to overcome all the obstacles and temptations that they will throw on their way. That's basic. The second thing is the retention of consultation. The just outgone commission introduced consultation with civil society, the media, security agencies, and political parties on a quarterly basis.
Yeah.
What that meant was that people cannot completely claim ignorance except for the purpose of mischief.
True.
That they don't know what is going on in INEC.
Yes.
It should intensify those consultations and even probably widen the bracket. But one of the most, or the most visible weakness of the Mahmood Commission was its public issues management. In my view, it was weak in public issues management and political communication. I've not been able to wrap my head around the reason for it in terms of being proactive in engaging issues as on a timeous basis, in a way that even when those policy actions are defensible, they allow conjectures and conspiracy theories to emerge and thrive, and then wait until they write reports. And one of the best ways for anybody not to know anything is to write a report, including those who are invested in the thing. Do not read those reports. Otherwise, if anybody was reading INEC report, nobody will be saying that the glitch for 2023, that INEC has not said anything. INEC has explained the glitch in its 507-page report that it released after the 2023 election. But find out, even from those who every day are involved in election work, whether they have opened a page of that report.
I was going to ask about your thoughts on the priority areas for the new chairman, but you've killed that particular point initially. So in wrapping up this particular session, what I want to ask now is the fact that beyond the political influence and all of that, there is still CSOs and there are citizens that needs to be accountable to. In what ways do you think that the current, the CSOs as well as citizens can help the INEC chairman to do his role better in ensuring that they meet?
I think let us use help the commission. You see, the personalization of power is part of the challenge that we have. We can help the commission by thinking through ideas that most of these things that have happened in the electoral process are actually a result of the contribution of civil society organizations through their post-election reports, and even that of international partners who also are making suggestions.
Yes, sir.
But in doing all of this, you must also be mindful of our limit. Our limit is advocacy.
Sure.
So many times we become arrogant about the power of our advocacy. Because we said so, then it must happen. And because we said so does not mean it has to go through the treadmill of administration, of lawmaking, and at the end of the day, there are different things that come into play. Politics, the politics of it. So, but our work is to continue advocacy, pushing very stringently, but also understanding that there is a limitation to our advocacy, and also understanding of the intricate workings. That's why I had to put you through the whole strata of what you call a commission.
Sure.
If you understand what you call a commission, for instance, Anambra election is holding. Do you know that the INEC chairman on November 9 or is it 8 will be in a situation room in Abuja? It is the resident electoral commissioner and the 21 electoral officers and whatever number of ad hoc staff and 2 or 3 supervising national commissioners that will be in Anambra to administer that election. Every election is as good as the resident electoral commissioner. Because of the nature of his appointment, he is not a surrogate of the national. So even when you send national commissioners to monitor election in those states, they hardly can give directive. It played out in Adamawa. There was going to be fisticuff between the national commissioner and the resident electoral commissioner in Adamawa State. So my call always is that for Anambra, for instance, we should put the satellites. In fact, we should beam the torchlight on the resident electoral commissioner and the electoral commissioners, and the returning officers that we appointed. Let us put them on the spotlight. If election goes well in subnational elections, indeed even in national elections, the commission, as in the national commission, is the chairman is the chief returning officer. It is what you bring from the states that he eventually.
Sure.
In national elections, the national chairman is in one place. Resident electoral commissioners are conducting, and these resident electoral commissioners are appointed from states contiguous to their state of origin. So you are not going to have a Yoruba person organizing election in Enugu. Sure. Or Imo. It is an Imo indigene who will go to Enugu to conduct elections. Enugu will go to Abia. Ebonyi will come to. So these people are contiguous to their own environment. They organize election. If they organize credible elections, they pass it
to the national
for general elections.
Yes.
This returning officer, from what I have received from Imo, these are the results. We will leave the character that conducted the election in Imo and face the person who is reading what has been brought
to him
from Imo. That's the way this thing runs. So this person who have organized a bad or good election in the state will immediately duck. And expect magic from Abuja. So the culmination of good or bad election in a federated unit like the one we have is a culmination of the bad or good nature and character of the character who is organizing that election and supervising it in the state.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir, for this very expository session. It's been a pleasure having the Executive Director, Ezenwa Nwagwu of Perrin Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa. Thank you very much. And with me here is, behind the camera is Isaiah Monye, Senior Programs Officer, Perrin Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa. Thank you very much. Please follow us on our social media pages, PAACA, and on Twitter and Instagram. And we'll be looking forward to hearing feedback from you on your views on this content we released today. Thank you very much and have a great day.